Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the Intern, Ned Reynolds. It's Monday. We're back to work in the studio. So we got our first look at the new Kansas City Chiefs in Chicago on Saturday. I thought first team offense looked great. I mean, they got the ball, they marched down the field. It was like old times. He's got new weapons. I thought it was very telling that Isaiah had that great run and then they pulled him pretty soon after that, so it kind of tells me he might be number 2. We'll see what happens. I thought first team D looked good. Chris Jones got a sack. The Greek Freak got a sack. He had some great pressures, and then we had a extra point kick by Justin Reed. So we had a little bit of everything on Saturday.
Yeah, and I've got to agree with you. I think the offense looked really, really good. They could have won that game 37 to maybe 10.
It was 14-0 going in the first half with your first and second team. That's really the picture.
So, yeah, I don't think there's any question on offense. There is, well, I'd say no question on offense. There were some very good performances. I especially like the Watson kid, Justin Watson, probably not going to make the team. An Ivy Leaguer, caught 5 passes and had a touchdown catch out of it from Shane Buechele. Another one who looked very good. Buechele is battling for the third place and that on the roster as far as QBs. I think Chad Henne probably has the second one. He only played a couple of snaps. So Andy Reid probably has that formula figured out. One guy who does create a puzzle for me is Ron Jones. And the way he is running in the backfield, Mike, I'm going to be surprised if he makes the team. He had 4 rushes for exactly 1 yard. He just didn't do anything. Of course, the rushing game was not overly spectacular. Didn't need to be. But the fact is that he didn't show himself, and he was going to be given that opportunity. Juju Smith-Schuster really didn't play. I did like the rookie from Wisconsin, Leo Chanel. He really looked sharp in there.
Yeah, especially whenever because he was kind of the pseudo green dot wearer towards the end of the game. And for a rookie to put on that kind of responsibility, I thought he did pretty well.
He had 6 solo tackles in the game, and this is really good. I'll tell you what he reminded me of is the reincarnation of J.J. Watt. Here's Watt. Did you see the story about him yesterday? That's the funniest thing. It's not funny because I would have freaked out if it had happened to me. He's living out in Arizona now. He's from up there, Wisconsin, same as Leo Chanel. So he goes into his house bathroom yesterday, and he's looking around. So, oh my God, snake curled up in the corner of the bathroom. He freaks out. Now this is J.J. Watt. Come on.
But a snake could take you down.
So he immediately assumed it's a rattlesnake. Now, what do you do? Well, he did the right thing. He called the authorities. They come out, and it was a harmless something or other. He says the guy comes out, and he picks it up with his bare hand and just takes it out. Hey, no problems. You're fine. And he says, I feel like a wimp.
Hey, man.
I know how he feels.
I'm sure he's heard the thorn in the paw of the lion story a few times. So, and that can happen. Well, like I said, I thought really all in all, we got to see what we needed to see. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Reid brings to the table against Washington on Saturday, too.
I did watch Washington play on Saturday, and they are not very good. This is not going to be a terrific test for the Chiefs. Now, it depends on who they play and how they mix the lineups. But in terms of a good level of competition, they should run Washington.
I feel like we're going to see kind of the same thing that we did against the Bears. You know, they'll probably run first team, see how they do, see what they see. You make a touchdown, walk. Same thing with the D, and then walk. Also, I would like to mention Frank Clark was pretty damn good. He looked a lot slimmer and a lot quicker to me.
For the little amount of time he played.
He did. So that was good, too. But, yeah. And again, you and I have said this before, especially going into the preseason, that these games are a little bit in the past. You know, exhibition didn't matter. There's 4 of them. Now there's 3 of them. So it's really important for those third and fourth teamers to see where our depth's going to be.
And it should only be 2 games.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Then they're really important. Well, just give us one of the. I always say this every time we go through preseason. Back in the day, you remember where they would travel. It would be so amazing to have a Chiefs game down here.
Of course, remember now they had 6 preseason games back then. You could get away with it, but it was such fun. My gosh, we saw them in small towns in New. I remember as a kid. Well, wasn't really a kid. I was a senior in high school. Watching the Philadelphia Eagles play the New York Giants in Princeton, New Jersey.
I bet that was so awesome.
Oh, it was incredible. And in other, they'd play, the Chiefs, as a matter of fact, played a game, and I think it may have been their last barnstorming game. Played it at Norman, Oklahoma, at OU Stadium. I was back about 89 or 90, somewhere around there.
That was so cool.
It would have been. I wish they'd do that.
Yeah, me too. I really do. I mean, go play Columbia, whatever, man. It'd be great. All right, well, golf, man. I kind of kept peeking in. I had a lot of stuff to do this weekend, so I knew that I wouldn't get a whole lot of time to watch it. But really, when things were coming to a head yesterday, is when I kind of got to watch a little bit, and it was a very, very tight race to the end.
How about a triple sudden death overtime? And the guy who eventually wins it, Will Zalatoris, played here last year. He was at Highland Springs and was a big winner on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's been a big winner since going to the PGA Tour. Anyway, he's involved in the sudden death overtime, 3 of them, with a golfer named Sepp Straka, who's pretty good. He's not one of the all-time greats. Anyway, they get to the 3rd hole of the sudden death. They're tied, still at 15 under par. And Zalatoris hits his shot into a hazard. But somehow, some way, the ball stays on the rocks. It bounced around on the rocks and stayed on the rocks. Now, that just doesn't happen. The golf gods were smiling. So it really sets the stage for Straka. And what's he do? Hits the ball in the same rough or the same hazard. Same one. Well, Zalatoris comes out of it, chips up onto the hole, almost holes out. Perfect situation. Straka can't answer, and it's Will Zalatoris who wins the very first of the 3 key matches here. This is the FedEx playoffs. So he's the first winner. He builds up, he accrues a number of points. The field, it's not literally cut in half. It's a little bit more than half. 70 golfers will play next week in Wilmington, Delaware. That's the next tournament. And then after that, the field is cut to the final 30. Winning those tournaments, you get a lot of points. When it comes down to the final tournament in Atlanta, the overall points leader begins at 10 under par.
Yeah, that's a big lead.
That person is going for $15 million.
Yeah, that's a big lead if you know anything about golf. And guess what? That means more naps in the future, like I always said. So Mr. Pujols has been on a little bit of a tear recently. Every time he hits one out of the park, I'm like, oh my God, he might actually pull this off. 11 homers in 48 games is what he needs, right?
That's exactly what he needs.
You think he could do that?
It'll be a challenge for him. The fact of the matter remains, guys, 42 years old, had a huge day yesterday, hit 2 home runs. He drove home 4 of the Cardinals' 6 winning runs in a 6-3 win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Drove home 4 runs with 2 home runs. One was a 3-run shot in the 8th inning. Albert's hitting very well. He is not in a situation where he can play every day, though. If he does, he's going to develop injuries again. 42 years old, a little bit overweight, but still in pretty good shape. But it's that plantar fasciitis that really has him bothered because he doesn't want that to reoccur. That hurts. And the fact of the matter remains, if they play him, and they will against all left-handers, he could. It's 11 home runs in 48 games. It'll take a lot to do that, but then again, this is Albert Pujols, and he is one of the all-time greats. Anyway, Cardinals win that game, now have a 1.5 game lead over Milwaukee in the National League Central Division.
And that was a big, big win against the Brewers yesterday.
If they had swept, it would have been huge, but they lost on Saturday.
Yeah, but hey, at least they ended up on the right side of the coin coming out of that thing. All right, the other teams in Missouri, Kansas City Royals, how'd they do?
Both the Royals and the Springfield Cardinals come away with victories. The Royals come away with, the Royals stopped the Los Angeles Dodgers' 12-game winning streak. How about that? Kansas City with a 4-0 shutout of the mighty Dodgers. What on earth? Kansas City, one of the lesser teams in all of Major League Baseball, shutting out the Dodgers? It happened. Brady Singer threw 6 innings of excellent baseball. Then 3 relievers came in and shut down the Dodgers. Weather may have had something to do with it. The Dodgers were really croaking about how hot and muggy it was. I was reading a Los Angeles story, and the writer said, I love this description too. The atmosphere was about as thick and sticky as barbecue sauce in Kansas City. What a wonderful analogy. Anyway, the Royals do get the win, 4-0, beat the Dodgers. Springfield Cardinals, playing way out in hot country, Amarillo, Texas, concluded their series with the Amarillo Sod Poodles with a 15-11 win last night. 15-11. Ball is going to fly out in that ballpark, as witnessed by the fact that Chandler Redmond had the home run cycle out there earlier this week. Anyway, the fact is the Cardinals get a win and now return home for a series beginning on Tuesday night with the Arkansas Travelers, and lots of very good baseball to see, gang. Get on out there and see them while you can.
And this is the time of the year where you don't want to miss out on some baseball because it's going to be gone before you know it. So, speaking of which, 29 years ago today, an epic win for one of the greatest pitchers in all of baseball.
The greatest pitcher is the Express. That's what they called him. Nolan Ryan scored his final victory of his career. And it occurred this day, number 324 for Nolan Ryan, the Express. He was nothing short of outstanding. His 324 ties him with Don Sutton as the 14th all-time winningest pitcher in all of baseball. 14th. That's pretty doggone good, folks. 324 wins. Who's the all-time greatest? That's what everybody's asking. Denton True Cy Young. The pitching award is named for the greatest 511 career victories. It occurred well over 100 years ago, back at even before the turn of the century. And Cy Young could throw Walter Johnson as second and a distant second. But 324, that's pretty doggone good. And indeed, it was the final win for Nolan Ryan 29 years ago.
And there's a reason they call it the Cy Young Award, because that record ain't ever going to be broken. Ned, you have a great day.